Riggins, BTC Media. Nice to meet you, John.
Thank you. Nice to be talking here.
So, the Bitcoin and blockchain media from inside, and the blockchain data can be banned or deleted. So, how do you think, how can the blockchain transform and maybe revolutionize the media industry?
Yeah, so I'd say there are kind of three players here that could be transformed a little bit by blockchain. So you have publishers, which is digital media companies and people like that. That's something that BTC Media is, publishing content, a centralized media company. And you have the kind of the advertising piece that could be disrupted by blockchain, and then content creators themselves. So we think that decentralizing nature of blockchains are going to really change the way a lot of these pieces interact and the way that revenue models are built. And so we're thinking that blockchain is going to have a big impact.
That's great. So you know that the blockchain has growing hype tendency, and lots of companies want to integrate the blockchain system into their businesses. Mm-hmm. So how do you think, do they really realize what does the blockchain mean, or is it just using the blockchain for the blockchain?
Right, yeah, so definitely a lot of both. So anytime there's a disruptive technology that's coming out, companies are going to kind of want to attach it to themselves for marketing, kind of hype their innovation and technical savvy. So you definitely see a lot of that. I was in China for the last year or so, and we saw a lot of companies in China especially who were hyping their blockchain teams and then raising more funds. So that's definitely a part of it. But there really are real applications for blockchain in a lot of different industries, and so we see that all over the place. Supply chain, financial services, their blockchain will disrupt a lot of this stuff. I did hear a good quote earlier today from someone that if you want to use blockchains but you don't know what they are, then you aren't going to be able to use them. Mm-hmm. That's kind of a bad quote, but anyway.
I get it. So you were talking about China, and how do you think, what countries have created the most advantageous conditions for the blockchain system now?
Yeah, that's a great question. And it's also an interesting thing for the kind of startup ecosystem that this blockchain industry has right now. So in the past, you saw Silicon Valley was kind of a center for a lot of innovation. All these tech companies, Google, Facebook, they all started out of Silicon Valley because that's where the talent was, that's where the developer talent was, that's where all the venture capital money really centered around also. So I think in terms of decentralization again, this kind of new blockchain ecosystem, there's an opportunity for different regions, different countries, different city-states to kind of use regulation arbitrage to make themselves more attractive to all these blockchain startups that are raising money and hiring like crazy. So we think Singapore has pretty forward-thinking regulation. Switzerland certainly. I wish the U.S. Was doing a better job.
Maybe post-Soviet countries.
And Russia. We're excited to be here. So I just moved to Moscow a couple of weeks ago to kind of figure this market out, and we like what we see so far. There's a lot of developer talent, which is really important. There's investor interest. The government seems to be open to certain things. So excited about the post-Soviet countries as well.
So since the cryptocurrencies have been based on the total data transparency, it is very hard to control their use by the legal framework. Mm-hmm. So who do you think the government make accountable, like the users or other types of agents?
Sure. So that's a kind of a loaded question because and a trend that we saw, especially as kind of the first step away from digital currency in terms of applications for blockchains, is that you saw kind of traditional institutions, governments were thinking about blockchain, but they were thinking about it in terms of private blockchains, consortium chains, where the kind of controlling nodes in the network are institutions and governments and trusted parties. And so we still see that as a trend where JP Morgan, when they roll out some kind of blockchain application, it's probably going to be some kind of private chain technology. And so things like that. With these completely public, decentralized systems, there's really no way to corral them if you're a government. And so it's kind of a scary thing. Bitcoin, no one can shut it down. The mining network around the world can't be shut down, even if Russia wanted to ban mining, which they haven't given an indication that they want to do. But impossible to shut down these kind of global decentralized systems, which is interesting.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, sure.